Hey, Canucks fans. Hey, hockey fans. I am thrilled to continue my series of previewing all four of these new look divisions for this 1 year only. And we've done the North Division. We've done the West Division yesterday. And today we are going all the way out east. And I'm thrilled to be joined by the lovely and the talented Kim Woiza. And you guys know her as Isles Girl 3. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Clay.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to do this.
Oh, me too. Tell everyone a bit about your YouTubing and your fandom of a certain team, which I think we can all guess who it is.
Yeah, if it's not obvious. So basically on YouTube, I do a podcast each week. I try to break down, first I try to break down Islanders play, what I think we can do better in the offseason. I try to think of possible trades, how we can improve. And then I go around the league, anything that happened trade-wise or games that stood out to me, players, individual players, and I like to break it down. And then on the side, I like to do different game streams, so you can join me for a game stream. I try to announce, don't judge, but I try to announce, and I do a lot of collabs with other YouTubers, so you can find more amazing hockey YouTubers like Clay here, and have fun and enjoy a game.
Awesome. Well, I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm, and as you know, there aren't a lot of females who do what you do, and that's an added bonus. So thank you. Of our four guests, you're the only female among the four. So thank you for doing that as well.
Of course, thank you.
So we're going to go in alphabetical order. So you're going to have to wait a few teams before we get to your beloved Islanders, but I know you're a patient woman. You can handle it. So let's go through each of the 8 teams in this newly formed East Division. And then at the very end, I will have you give your predictions on how they'll finish 1 through 8. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, I will start. I'll introduce the teams. The first one are your friends and mine, the Boston Bruins. They finished first overall in the entire league by points percentage. So obviously first in the East. They beat Carolina in the first round, but they were dumped in 5 games by Tampa Bay in the second round. They've lost some big players. They might be on the, have some injury problems. What do you make of the Boston Bruins, Kim?
The Boston Bruins are just insanely strong team. There's someone I'm super scared about coming into this next season. I don't know if you know, but the Islanders have not beaten the Boston Bruins at home since 2013.
Wow, did not know that.
That is a true fact. Like, I would go to the Coliseum and go, okay, I'm ready for a loss. Let's go. Like, they're just an extremely strong team, but they're a team that is just respectable in how good they are.
Yeah.
As much as it's like they have players like Marchand, it's like you love to hate him, but if he's on your team, you absolutely love him. And he's honestly, as much as like I hate Marchand, he's an amazing player. Guys like David Pastrnak, who's just insane with puck possession and just like how he can snipe goals. And obviously, I think everyone knows that the first thing that comes to the Boston Bruins right now is the loss of Zdeno Chara. Mm-hmm. I mean, their captain, the guy's been so loyal to the organization. He's, big man Z. And I think the first thing he thought of with the Boston Bruins was Zdeno Chara. Mm-hmm. Hurts a little bit to me as an Islanders fan since we drafted him. But honestly, it was a big reason why I liked the Boston Bruins. I know that a lot of people from New York are like, you like the Boston team? I have family ties. I have I have a cousin who lives in Massachusetts, and he's a big Boston fan. So he kind of got me on the Boston wagon a little bit. But I think the biggest thing for them is just to get players healthy. Tuukka Rask is back. Yeah. I don't know if you saw today, he came out about why he left the bubble, about the situation with his daughter, which was as of I can only think as him as a father, I think he chose the right decision to go home. I know if it was like me and it was my daughter, I would definitely do the same exact thing he did.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that, I hope she's like okay, and I'm glad that he did what he did. But it's just about now for the Boston Bruins, it's about getting healthy and trying to regroup without Zdeno Chara.
Great points, all great points, Kim. Yeah, and Zdeno Chara is a massive loss, but you could argue it's not even the biggest loss in the blue line. Of course, they lose Torrey Krug as well, so that's going to be massive. And you're right. Is Pastrnak going to start the season? Is Marchand going to start the season? And the Tuukka Rask, the drama that followed him, and now we understand why. And how can you fault him for making the choice that he did. You know, it's funny, as obviously you know who the Vancouver Canucks lost to 10 years ago now in the Stanley Cup Finals, and some of those characters are still there. They're slowly going away, but yeah, it's tough for me to give the Bruins some love, but how can you not when they were first overall in the entire league last year? So we'll see where we have them ranked in a few minutes, but let's move on to another B team, Buffalo. Now these guys, they finished 25th overall, so they did not qualify for the postseason, but they've had a couple massive additions in the offseason. What's your thoughts on the Sabres?
Oh, the Sabres. Oh, the Sabres. Oh, we love the Sabres. Here's the weird thing with the Sabres is, like, at the beginning of the year, like, if let's say, like, I'm putting it in like regular season terms, but like they will start off so high, like October, November, they'll just be like soaring. They'll be so good. And then for some reason there's like the drop. And then suddenly they'll be like towards last place. It's the weirdest thing with Buffalo. I feel bad, like, if like for Buffalo fans, because I know what it's like to have a, you know, not all together organization that honestly the players have been quoted saying that it's not a winning atmosphere there, which is really, as a fan, that would be detrimental to me. Eichel, as you know, I think wants to be traded out of Buffalo, and that's their star. So it's really tough for Buffalo right now, and I just feel like they, chemistry wise and just organization wise, need to get it together. Obviously they did have some great picks, like I know Taylor Hall is one of them, but I really don't my mind's blanking on the second acquisition, but I know
Eric Stahl. Eric Stahl,
Eric Stahl, thank you.
Yeah.
I know those are honestly two great players that I think they added to their organization, but I don't feel they're the solution to their problem isn't like 100% on the ice, it's internally. And that's what they really have to fix, is the organization itself. And being an Islanders fan, I know how that feels. And being a big fan of Robin Lehner and hearing what he said about the organization after leaving it, it's not good right now.
You make some fabulous points. And, you know, us being out here on the West Coast, we barely pay attention to Buffalo, although they are Vancouver's expansion cousins. They both came in the league 50 years ago together. But you're right. You see Taylor Hall 1 year at $8 million. That's obviously a big contract. But the fact that they only got him for a year, I don't think he even knows what's going to happen, or he doesn't want to commit to the city. So maybe that's kind of the tail of the tape there. Of course,
he was supposed to save Arizona, and just look what happened there. So it's like he's not going to save the Buffalo Sabres. I'm sorry, I just don't see it.
No, fair enough. You're right. Jack Eichel, Taylor Hall. It sounds like a pretty good combination. Obviously, they have Rasmus Dahlin on the back end, but there might not be enough talent there. And while we're talking about that, where did your fandom of Robin Lehner come from? Obviously, when he was, tell us about that, because I've seen that. Yeah.
So the year he joined, he made that article in The Athletic about him coming open with bipolar depression and alcoholism, and he made The Athletic make it a free article. He's like, I want everyone to be able to read this. I want everyone to know. He's like, so he actually made it a free article for everyone to read. And I call my Islanders fan base, we're like a family, and we support our family. And so we were just immediately, you know, at first I was so sympathetic towards, I was like, wow, like this guy is amazing. Like he's dealing with all this and still is able to get up on the hockey stage and kill it every single night. Like, and fun fact, Robin Lehner is the first Islanders goaltender to get a shutout in his debut on the team.
Nice.
So that was an amazing, I was there when it was an amazing night. And halfway through that season, I've had like these little episodes since I was a kid. It feels like deja vu. I never really thought anything of it, but in college, they started happening more frequently. And it came to the point where I was having one every single day. And it started to be where people were noticing, and I was doing actions and like hitting myself in the face and drooling. And my friends finally called an ambulance on me, and they diagnosed me in the hospital with partial complex seizures. And it was like just a complete like flip of this, like it was hard to like, I don't know, accept at first that I had this problem, that I just was always like, oh, it's nothing, you know, and it turned out to be something quite big, and it has, like, I can tell you now, it has progressed. But I was scared. I had to get used to a new lifestyle. Like at first, like I couldn't, you know, freedoms were taken. I couldn't drive anymore. because obviously if I can't drive, just in case, God forbid. And I had to get used to taking meds on a schedule. And it was just a big flip in my life. And I just got nervous and I got really, really scared, especially in the middle of a college semester where I'm in a nursing program. And it's like, I'm a nurse. Like I should be able to, I'm trying to take care of other people. How can I take care of other people when I can't even take care of myself? And it got me really scared. And then I don't know how it came up. I think it was just someone retweeting it on Twitter, the article, and I reread it. And his thoughts and takes on, personal mental illness and things like that, just really, it spoke out to me in a way that I hadn't seen before, because I'd kind of mentally gone through some of what he went through myself. And so he became like the biggest role model to me. And I supported him so much. And that whole season I was going, I need his jersey. I need his jersey. I need his jersey. And my grandparents surprised me with one on Easter. And they recorded it. I put it on Twitter just for look, I got it. I was so excited. And then Robin Lehner retweeted it. And now look where we are today.
That's wow. And didn't he sign one of them?
Yes, the Islanders one. That on the 4. It's very hard to see.
But did he sign it when he was with the Islanders or when he came back with the Black?
Actually, when I went to Chicago.
Yes, that's what I figured.
Chicago. Yeah.
So he was playing for Chicago at the time, yet he signed your. See, that's such a cool story. And honestly, even if we don't preview we will. But even if we stop the video here, that was so worth it. Thank you for sharing that, Kim.
I'm glad to. I'm always happy to share it, and I hope that some people who haven't read his story and what he went through, I hope more people will go to that article and find it. I'll send it to you if you want to put in the description, because it's honestly for people who go through mental health issues, and it's such a touching article, and it's like someone who gets it, and it just feels like it's supportive, and that's why I idolize him, and I found a lot of people who felt similar to how I felt.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he's just like a beacon of hope, I guess, for me.
Well said. No, we'll put that link in the description down below so other people can be blessed by it as well as you have been. And I will say, I knew a bit of that story, not all of it in its full detail. So I couldn't get mad at him, even though he backstopped the Vegas Golden Knights to beat my Vancouver Canucks just a few months ago. But no, thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Kim. Okay, let's get back to the previews. Let's go to the New Jersey Devils. They finished even worse than Buffalo. They finished 26 overall. They did not qualify. A couple minor moves, Corey Crawford, Andreas Johnsson, Ryan Murray, a couple minor departures, Corey Schneider, Sami Vatanen. But we were talking before we started. This is a very nondescript team. What do you think about the New Jersey Devils?
New Jersey, I feel like the Islanders fans love them like a little brother. Honestly, it's just they're just so cute. And they hate the Rangers as much as we do, so it's respects there. But with the New Jersey Devils, this is definitely not the 2000 team. They have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of, they got some good acquisitions. I think Corey Crawford was good, but he's on the end of his career.
Yeah.
He's only got a few more years to go before Corey Crawford's out the door. We stole Schneider from them. So thanks. He looks cool. But honestly, New Jersey has a lot of work to do. Obviously, they got Jack Hughes, who was outshined by his brother, Quinn, who actually played so much better. But it's I just feel like New Jersey can't catch a break. They got that first overall pick. I feel like he's supposed to be we're going to talk about in the Rangers, like a Lafreniere type of a situation where he's supposed to be that guy to help boost the organization. And it's kind of like New Jersey's plateaued, where I haven't seen growth, but I don't see how they could get much. I can't see them getting worse too. I just feel like they're going to be that neutral team that's kind of sits in the same position they were last season. Yeah.
Which isn't that good considering that they missed the playoffs. And you're right. They have some younger guys in Heischer and Jack Hughes, but they're maybe not surrounded by enough talent. And even a guy like PK Subban, who you think may have impact, and he had a horrible season last season.
Not have a good. And maybe he could rebound. I could see PK possibly rebounding, but I don't know if that's enough. You can't just have one goal scorer.
You can go, Kim, for as long as you want in this next team. I don't have to, I'll just rattle off the stats, but you can talk about who they got, who they left, and what they're going to look like. So the New York Islanders, 11th overall in the entire NHL, 7th in the East, but they beat Florida in the qualifying round. They hammered Washington in the first round. They smoked Philly in the second round, and they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions in the conference finals. Let's talk about your New York Islanders.
At least we lost to the best. Honestly, I'm gonna say it now. The Lightning deserved to win that. They were the better team. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind they were the better team, and I knew they were gonna win that series after game one. But that was a tough game one. But honestly, my New York Islanders, as much as I love them, we do have problems. And I'm worried for this season. I am, especially with who we traded away. We just lost Devon Taves.
Yep.
Who is a solid defenseman. I remember watching him score his first NHL goal with us, which is crazy. And for some people, I know some people don't know this. Devon Taves and Jonathan Taves, no relation. No relation.
What pairing was Devon Taves playing on? Was he first, second, or third pairing when he was at his peak?
Oh, that's good.
I'm just curious.
I think it was he second pairing? He went with Mayfield. So I'm honestly not sure which line he was on.
Yeah. But you're saying it is
paid attention to that.
But it is a big loss to the team, you're saying.
He is a huge loss. He was actually number one in goal scoring of defensemen. Mm-hmm. He's a huge asset offensively. He's going to be someone who's going to be greatly missed on the team. And Noah Dobson is coming up basically to take his place.
Right.
Noah, he's a very, very young guy. And I don't know if he can exactly fill his shoes yet. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have a lot of faith in Noah Dobson. I have faith in Noah Dobson. Just, I don't know. I'm just still like shaky about it. I'm nervous because like when we played Noah Dobson in the playoffs, he made a lot of mistakes. And that's what's going to happen. He's young and he's facing, top teams in the NHL. But I have faith that he can grow this season. Mm-hmm. Going on from there, signings that we have to do. We got Corey Schneider officially signed. We got Matty Martz signed. Yep. The problem with Matty Martz was the time. I think the price was right. He got $1.5 million, maybe a little bit too much for a fourth liner, but Matty Martz has always been an Islander, and I was so excited to get him back. But 4 years. Oof, that was a lot. Yeah. Lou definitely likes to sign his veterans, but putting in terms, I'm happy to see Matty Martz out there. He brings an element to the team, and it's also nice because Casey Cizikas, I believe, becomes a UFA after this next season. Him and Matt are best friends. Yeah. So that's going to be another reason for him to stay. And Casey Cizikas is an insane workhorse. I think he's one of the most underrated players on the team, and a great PK man. Penalty kill, he's great in getting those shorthanded goals. He's just he's lightning on that PK, and someone you desperately miss when he was out. He actually got a detached retina in the playoffs, and he was someone we desperately missed on, especially on PKs. So that's there. The biggest question mark this offseason, obviously, for us was Matt Barzal, who's an RFA. Yeah. Luckily, it's like kind of happy with Black Cap, but also very, problematic is Black Cap has stopped offer sheets from coming at him because, teams can't afford it right now. Mm-hmm. But that also means we can't afford him right now. And that's the biggest issue. I mean, he's on Long Island. He did his physicals. He did everything except a pen to paper. Yeah. And that's the problem is I've heard that the Islanders right now are trying to shop and do trades. I heard that Komarov might be in the mix where I'm like, thank God. But if you don't know, I call Komarov Stone Hands Komarov because his puck possession is non-existent. His puck handling is non-existent. But if we could possibly get rid of Komarov, and then another problem with Cap is Andrew Ladd. I mean, guys got an my gosh, I can't think of the term right now. We can't, and an NTC. That's it. Right. He has an NTC and an MC. So it's like, oh, we're screwed. It's like, oh, we're screwed with Ladd, and he's getting way overpaid, and we're just trying to wait that contract out. So Matt Barzal is the biggest question mark. I think Barzal wants to say his best friend on the team is Anthony Beauvillier, and Beauvillier said to the media that he's like, oh, there's no doubt it's going to happen. It's just about, like negotiating. And I really think it's Matt Barzal's agent who's going like, oh, you can get more money than this, and kind of like stopping him from finally, putting pen to paper. But, I think Lou's doing everything he can money-wise, especially in the cap crunch that we're in this year. And I'm just hoping that Barzal is signed before the season starts. That's the biggest, scariest thing to me, is that we're not going to have Matt Barzal game one.
Yeah, and Canucks fans are very interested in Barzal, not because we think we're going to get him, but because he's from here, and he beat out a certain player of ours for the Calder Trophy 2 years ago, which is fine. It's all good. Yes. So, so are you confident he puts pen to paper?
I was. If you asked me a week ago, I really was.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting more and more nervous. It's just like the waiting game, and I'm you said I was a patient lady. I am not a patient lady, and waiting for him to finally put a pen to paper. I mean, he's on Long Island. That's a good sign. Yeah. He's done everything. He's on Long Island. Those are good signs. So I'm like, those are kind of making me hang on, but like, my hope is dwindling a little bit. And honestly, I'm gonna say it. We need Barzal. Barzal. Yeah. He's something that gives some good rep to the Islanders name. He's the first guy you think of. I mean, he's right behind me. He's a stud on the ice. His speed is unmatched. The way he can he's such a playmaker. The way his hockey IQ, the way he can make plays happen is incredible. I just wish the Islanders had someone who could match his speed. Right. Have two guys when they crash his own, they would be incredible.
It's funny, Kim, you have all those awesome pictures of the Islanders on your wall, and I have a picture of myself on my wall right there. Okay.
I have a picture of myself up there. It's actually me, Robin Lehner.
Okay. But at least you're with a hockey player, though.
And then I'm actually going to talk about this. Me with Johnny Boychuk and Nick Leddy.
So Boychuk retired.
You can actually go and see in my YouTube how I felt about that. I'm going to just say, like, Johnny Boychuk was someone I loved when he played on the Boston Bruins. I loved Johnny on Boston. My grandma and I were huge fans of his. And then when we heard about the trade, we were like, oh my God. We were ecstatic. He became easily one of my favorite Islanders. He was just so strong in the back. You can't really see it on television, but at the games, you could see him behind the net yelling, at all of the team. He would set up the play. He would get the players focused on Strack. And not only that, but not only team-wise, but like media-wise, they said he was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. Devon Taves posted the photo of that night where he scored his first NHL goal. Johnny Boychuk gifted him a wine bottle engraved with the Islanders versus Blackhawks, the time when, like, how he scored and things like that. Like, he was there. Everyone said how Johnny was just a one-of-a-kind guy. Anders Lee, our captain, just said how no one's going to be able to fill the Johnny Boychuk shoes. That's just not possible. Wow. And it's absolutely, like, devastating to lose such a quintessential player to our defense. He was so strong. And how many plays he saved that made us win games. A great example for was Islanders versus the St. Louis Blues. We had tied the game 2-2 that game because of Johnny Boychuk. That game, it was 2-1, less than a minute remaining. We were getting down to the 30-second mark, and it was going out of the zone. We had 6 men on. Johnny Boychuk scrambled to get to that blue line, turned, and on his stomach hit the puck to Matt Barzal, who chucked it at the net and scored with 26 seconds. It was all because of Boychuk. Wow. And things like that. How many moments I saw rewatching games from this last season going, wow, that was because of Boychuk. That was because of Boychuk. He was just that amazing defenseman. And losing him this season, we're known for our defense. That's why I'm worried, because Devon Taves and Johnny Boychuk are both gone. And that's why, I mean, we re-signed Adam Pelech. We didn't re-sign Adam Pelech. We signed Ryan Pulock, which I thought was a great signing because he's amazing. And Adam Pelech is there, who's been my most improved Islander. Yeah. And we still have those, like, in Nick Leddy. Honestly, those three are still fantastic, but I don't know. I feel like the core of the defense is not going to be the same, and we might struggle a little bit there.
Fair enough. And one last question about the Islanders, Kim, before we move on. Are you confident in their goaltending?
Yes, which might be surprising people. Varlamov, I always have faith in Varlamov. I think he really showed himself this in the playoffs. He was fantastic. I really liked Varley's play. Sorkin's the big question mark. Yeah. Sorkin, the white whale, which was coined by Mike Carver from from his podcast. He's the big question mark because he's been in the KHL. He has to get used to this NHL ice. He plays top of the crease because, that's normal in the KHL. I'm like hoping he kind of breaks that habit a little bit and starts moving back a little bit more, maybe as he gets more used to the play style. Yeah. But from what I've seen of training camp, he's quick. He's very quick and sharp of like watching the puck and being able to snap anywhere he needs to be. So that's the only thing I'm just worried is he plays very top crease. Gotcha. But otherwise he seems sharp. So I have a lot of faith in him going into the season.
Awesome. Well said. So let me run down the Rangers and then you can bring in the special consultant. So the New York Rangers, they finished 18th overall, 11th in the East. They made the play-in, but they lost very swiftly to Carolina. So who do you have to help us out with this one?
Alrighty, so we got my special consultant on the New York Rangers. A lot of people say, how the hell? But my boyfriend, Jordan, he's a New York Rangers fan, knows his team very, very well.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Jordan. And as soon as I heard that you're a Canucks fan, I knew that we had to let you be on this thing too. Or a Canucks fan, but you like the Canucks.
He does like the Canucks very much.
They have a bright future. So do the Rangers.
Awesome. So let's talk about it, Jordan and Kim. Tell me about the Rangers. Obviously, they have the number one pick who's going to hopefully make an impact, but he might not have to. What can we expect from the team this year?
In terms of, it's going to look very similar to last year's team, hopefully with just better overall play. The biggest subtractions are Jesper Foss, Mark Stahl, and Henrik Lundqvist. And obviously, at each individual's point in their career, they're not superstars. But Foss was similar to Casey Zizekas, where he is a workhorse, a huge leader. And the fact they signed for only $2 million is really upsetting. Mark Stahl, I mean, we had to give up a second to get rid of his contracts. He was terrible. But I mean, at the end of the day, he was with the team for over a decade, and that's a little disappointing.
Fun fact, in the playoffs, he scored for Carolina.
He scored for the Rangers in the same game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He scored on both, scored on both nets that game. That's right.
Funny, yeah. And, I mean, Hank, the heart and soul of the team since 2005, like, just an absolute legend, class act. Hopefully his surgery goes well. And, I mean, they've basically all but guaranteed that whenever he chooses to retire, that he's going to have a spot with the Rangers organization, which is great to hear because that's
I was happy about that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you should really treat guys like him who are just like a great ambassador to hockey. For the Lions, the biggest question marks are going to be how Capo Caco performs on the second line, and if he can show us that he has that number 2 overall potential, which honestly I think he can. He showed it in the brief playing round, and I mean he's shown it at every other level, and he's still only 19 years old. He has plenty of time to grow into a player. There have been comparisons to like Andrei Chesnikov. I know I butchered that name. I can't pronounce it.
Svechnikov.
I know I can't pronounce. I know what it is. I can't pronounce it. Where in his first season, he had better numbers, but it was only by like 10-ish points, but he had more goals while Caco had more assists.
Okay. And
then obviously this past year he exploded.
Yeah.
And is all of a sudden now he's a superstar.
It's insane.
So, and I think just obviously playing with Panarin, you see what he did for Strome. Jesper Foss had career numbers, and Foss is not an offensive guy.
Panarin to the Rangers, I have to say, he boosts
he's one of those players.
Much. Yeah, he's like what they want Taylor Hall to be in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Panarin has that. He gave that momentum to the Rangers, I have to say, and improved them that much more.
I think the Rangers' third line is going to be very interesting to watch because they could either be the best third line in the league or the most unexperienced worst because you have Lafreniere, who, I mean, at practice the guys are saying that he's fantastic, that the puck's on a string for him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have Phil Pedal, who's looking to take Strome's spot on the number 2 center. Pedal's only 20. I think he's 21 still.
21? Yeah.
He's still very young, and he's improved every year, so that's what's important.
Okay.
And you have Julien Gauthier, who we got from Carolina, ironically, and he was great in the AHL. He had 20 plus goal seasons when we traded him.
Yeah.
And I mean, he hasn't shown much, but then again, he was also buried on the fourth line with Brett Howden, and just a rotation of fourth liner AHL players. So getting to play with Hedel and Lafreniere will really give him that chance to show what he's made of. The top line of Kreider, Bushnevich, and Mika Zibanejad is always very fun to watch. Mika and Kreider have such a great connection, and Bush is just that great finishing touch.
You want to talk about Mika's day-to-day?
Yeah, so Mika's day-to-day, because of COVID, they don't tell us whether it's upper body, lower body, sickness, whatever.
Yeah.
There were rumors saying that's because he came to the United States late.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what a lot of people were saying, was that he was one of the last people to arrive in the United States, so that there's a chance that he's just quarantining it. Yeah, but like they're not allowed to say, oh, it's just quarantine. But the fact that David Quinn's been saying that there's like very little doubt that he won't be ready for the opener, and that's reassuring.
When it comes to like rivalry games, not so much with Devils. Devils were chill.
Yeah,
sure.
Devils,
honestly, like, there's bad blood between them, but like in terms of like the fan interaction, like it's not good.
But it's not Islander Rangers.
Yeah.
And one of us that night is super happy, and one of us that night is super pissed off.
Well, I'm just impressed you guys are still together, which is the most important thing. So
we left MSG, and I was like, and he was like, don't talk to me. He was like, please, just not talk to me.
And then this past season, they beat us, and I went to him, I was like, and he was like, and I was like, don't touch me.
On Ranger Islander games nights, we just keep it mutual. We don't respect each other's boundaries, but otherwise it's like a lot of people are like, how does this work? Because we're just people who love hockey.
Also, it's just rational.
It's just loving the sport in general. We, having him to hear about Rangers news, which I normally wouldn't.
You keep me up to date with all the Islanders.
I keep up to like we keep each other up to date with these.
There you go.
Normally we're kind of like, we put the blinders on, like, I don't care, like. But he gives, if we see stuff around the league, we'll do both of our takes on it. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's a fun relationship. You have someone to, to always go to the games with you and things like that.
I don't mind going to an Islander game.
And honestly, I don't mind going to a Ranger game. Like it's enjoying the sport and having fun. Like I might not root for the Rangers.
Yeah, exactly.
And he might not root for the Islanders, but we can sit and enjoy a game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good connection. Well, thank you. You're welcome to stay, but we should probably get to the other 3 teams so we can finish this part off. So let's move. Thank you for that. Let's move on to Philadelphia. Wow, a very improved team. 6 overall. They beat Montreal in the first round, and they lost to your Islanders in the second round. But what do we think of these Philadelphia Flyers?
The Philadelphia Flyers, strong team. Strong team. The biggest thing that saved them, though, Carter Hart.
No, it's kind of hot.
Oh my gosh. But he was exceptional. I mean, as an Islanders fan, he pissed me off to no ends. We could not get one puck past the damn guy. I mean, he stood on his head for the Flyers. And I've talked to many Flyers fans who say it's the only reason they got to 7 games. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were moments where the Flyers outplayed us. Like, honestly, I just feel like if things with guys like Voracek, Couturier, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Voracek and Couturier and Giroux, played up to their level. They felt they fell off, and like Flyers fans I saw going nuts about it. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't play up to their level.
No, they didn't. If you look at, especially just like the point totals,
Mhm.
like obviously it's not the entire story of their games,
Yeah.
but like in terms of point totals, like they had like nothing.
Yeah, if their top guys get it together this season, they're just going to be that much stronger team. And harder heart is, you know, that piece in them. Once you have, you can have a strong team, but if you don't have a goaltender, like it's going to fall apart.
And
when you
Edmonton's
finally get
offense compared to their goaltender,
pretty much. And it's like, once you get that guy who's solid in net and is there for your team, I mean, you got the Flyers in that playoff round that we went to 7 games against. I mean, it was such a close series. They were such a tough team. I was so worried at so many points in that series, but the Islanders were, you know, able to get it through that last game. It just, the Flyers, you know, luckily for us, I feel like didn't fully show up. And that's the problem with the Flyers. It's like keeping their motivation 100% every single game, because I just feel like some games they'll be 100% and they'll just dominate. And then like they'll fall off one game, and that's, you know, where they lost it in the series.
they also have 2 different play styles depending upon the day.
Mhm.
That's the issue, is that a lot of times, I mean, they have a lot of skilled guys, but they play a lot very sandpaper, very aggressive.
Yeah, that's a
And that
big
wears
thing
you
that pissed
down.
me off, because they just
Yeah,
killing
but that
people left and right.
also wears them down. And
Mhm.
Right.
you know, like the whole point of having guys like Fost and Cizikas is to help, is to
And I
keep
felt-
the other guys energized.
And I felt, and you know what? It was great to see this last season, Oscar Lindblom finally
yeah.
take the ice again. I mean, like, I felt bad because we had to verse them, and I'm like, oh, it would be a great story if they won tonight. I'm like, but I don't want them to win tonight.
Especially if he scored like the game-winning goal.
Oh my god! Like, I mean, I can't be
Like-
mad. I couldn't be mad there, but it was great to see. Honestly, even as the opposing team, to see him back on the ice playing. I was like, kind of to like my play. Like, I was like, don't touch him. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, don't leave him alone. He's like,
And I love before the pause how they had that one moment where he was in the building.
oh, that was.
You remember that? Where like all the fans like turned around and acknowledged them.
That was great.
Yeah,
That is-
was cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, let's go to the other Pennsylvania team, Pittsburgh, 7th overall, 5th in the
That's
East.
where we can agree. We both hate Pittsburgh.
And they lost to the Montreal Canadiens in the qualifying round. So let's talk about these Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh boy! So that was the biggest surprise I think in the whole entire playoff series. Was
No, Edmonton with Chicago.
you could say that, but I don't know. I think the Penguins one was the most
I
shocking
don't
to
know.
me.
Montreal just has a better overall team.
I know. Honestly, that was the most shocking to me. I think the Penguins really just fell apart.
Chicago had
See, we disagree all the time.
Yeah.
But they're equal. Like and Chicago just snuck in, and Montreal's just snuck in, and they both won. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, Montreal going into everyone had. I even had Pittsburgh. I'm not even gonna lie about it. And I mean, Montreal got swept by the Red Wings, who obviously, you know, placed last in the entire league. And it was just like the obvious one. Like, if they can't beat the, you know, the worst team, how are they going to beat one of the, you know, greater teams out there? Guys with like Sidney Crosby, you know, Malkin. This is going to be easy, you know, done. And you see them get swept by the Montreal Canadiens. I was like,
And this is the second year in a row where they've just gotten wrecked in the playoffs. You guys swept them. Yeah.
but yeah, no, but
like,
I don't know what happens in the playoffs, but like the Penguins just deteriorate. And like, honestly, for me, their cup window is done.
Yeah.
Their cup window is done. They've had their cups. They had their glory, and you know they rightfully deserved it when they did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I feel like
sucks.
it's I call it the LA King situation, where now that team's being worn down, they're getting older,
Yeah.
and it's time to start thinking about
The only thing that's keeping them
reorganizing.
afloat is the fact that they still have superstars.
Yeah, the superstar's the only thing, but they're going to turn into the LA King situation where they, you know, you can't just keep that old team. You got to
Yeah.
start moving people in the organization, trying to start to rebuild
Which they've tried to do
a little bit, but not successfully enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did the Galchenyuk experiment.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
I mean, they tried Zucker.
And now they
traded
lost
for
Murray.
Kapanen.
And now they lost Murray. Now Jari is their.
Well, they were going to lose one of them to the
Yeah.
expansion draft. So that's
You're right.
enough.
So they had to make a move for sure.
But
But
at
it's
least-
fun. Yeah. It's funny though how the way you just described Pittsburgh, you could also describe the next team the exact same way when you talk about aging superstars. So let's go to the Washington Capitals. You like that segue? 5th overall in the league, 3rd in the East, and they lost to your Islanders, Kim, in 5 games in the
Yeah,
first round.
I can't tell you how many people coming at me, Washington in 5, Washington in 4, Washington in 6. And I was like,
I actually said you guys in 6.
I know you did, but I'm saying like I knew how the Washington Capitals played, and I saw the team, and I'm like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. If I think the Islanders will lose, I will tell you the Islanders will lose.
Yep.
And I said, I was like, guys, I really don't think so. I think the Islanders could really pull this one out.
Yep.
And they proved me right. I mean, they won in 5, which to me, I thought it was going to maybe go to 6, but that those games, it was like obvious the Islanders dominated Washington. I was a proud fan, but Washington for me, which I don't know if it's a very unpopular opinion, but I feel like, like their cup window's closed. I feel like they got that one year, they lost, what made them part of what made them great was their coaching. We stole all their coaches. But Alex Ovechkin, I mean, he's dominant and everything, but I just feel like the team,
the problem is they just need, if they get hot at the right time, I think that they could actually do it though, because
they're still a strong team. It's just about, I don't know. It's just about
it's also the big factor is Samsonov.
Yeah.
If he can take the next step, kind of like what I was saying, how I expect.
They're just missing
Demko.
Something. They're missing a little. They just acquired Zdeno Chara, which I think is ridiculous. Especially since he's making under $1 million.
$750.
Yeah, and Jack Johnson's getting $2 million.
It's $1 million.
Excuse me, $1 million.
Martin.
So here's a question for both of you. Would you rather take this team, a team that has Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang, and Jerry, or would you take a team that has Ovechkin, Backstrom, let's say Kuznetsov, Oshie, Carlson, and Samsonov?
Ovi. Easily,
I would say Ovi
because Samsonov is much better than Jari.
So you take Washington over Pittsburgh?
It's like how we said before. It's like what makes a team too is not just the players on the ice, but that goaltender who's sitting in the net.
Yeah.
And
Jari's not bad, but Samsonov has much higher ceiling.
Samsonov any day over Jari, and it's not because they both have superstars. That's not a question about. It's not a question of superstars. It's
Ovi
a question
and
of
Crosby cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Malkin and Backstrom kind of
cancel each other out. Yeah.
Kuznetsov and Oshie can cancel Gensel, and then what's happening to Carlson.
Yeah, honestly, it's both strong teams. It's just about who's that goaltender in the net, and that's going to be the difference between the two.
Well said. Okay, so now here's the magic moment, Kim. We've talked about all 8 teams: Buffalo, Boston, New Jersey, Islanders, Rangers, Philly, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Let's hear your rankings. You can go 8 through 1 through 8. Just don't start at 4 or 5. That doesn't make any sense. Go either way, and then I will.
How would that even work?
I will do mine afterwards, and we'll see where we compare.
Have people done that to you?
No. I think it'd be funny.
I was like, damn. I was like, who starts at 4 or 5?
So whenever you're ready, lay it on me.
First is Boston.
Okay.
Done. Definitely going Boston's going to be number 1. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Number 2, I'm going to put Philadelphia. I really think those are going to be your top 2 in the league. Number 3, this is where I start jumping between Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Honestly, those are the 3 I start jumping in between. Do I think the Islanders are good enough for 3rd? Maybe not.
Obviously you expect to have Barzal, but that's also a huge factor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you guys could be 3rd with Barzal, but you could drop to 6 without him.
I'm gonna maybe put Washington there. I'm gonna put Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Then my Islanders. I think they will make playoffs, so I'm gonna put them in the 4th slot. Just behind them, I'm gonna put the Rangers. Sorry.
I thought you'd put us.
Really? No, the Rangers do have talent. They might fight for a playoff spot. Honestly, that's the hardest thing about the East is this is going to be the most flip-floppy one. This is going to be the one that's going to be the hardest.
Everybody's saying that, even because, like you said earlier, Buffalo can get to such a hot start. Honestly, the only team that's somewhat assumed to be eliminated is the Devils.
Yeah, so it's after the Rangers, I'm going to go Buffalo. Yep. And then I'm going to go New Jersey.
You skip Pittsburgh.
Oh, did I skip Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Tell me where you want to put Pittsburgh in. So you have Boston, Philly, Washington.
I thought I said the Islanders. I'm actually going to put Rangers.
Okay, and then Pittsburgh.
Rangers, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo Devils.
Okay. So again, Boston, Philly, Washington, Islanders. There's your top 4. Then you have Rangers, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New Jersey.
That's the most unsure to me. Honestly, Pittsburgh and Rangers to me could flip, but
I think the bottom 5 of that, really. Even bottom 6 can flip it.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the most like insecure I am. Like the top 2 and bottom 2, I'm so secure about.
Yeah.
But other than that, this whole middle is gonna be thrown in the air. Like
whoever gets off to a hot start.
Yep.
You know, Kim, it's fascinating that you say you're sure about your top 2 and you're sure about the bottom 2 and the middle 4, because I have the exact same thing. I have them reversed. You'll see what I mean, but I have the exact same 2 at the top, exact same 2 at the bottom.
Yeah,
so I have, and this East Division, who are we kidding? There's 5 teams that you could say are top 10 teams in the league. So I actually have Philly as number 1 because I just have a feeling that Boston's injuries may catch up to them. So
they're missing Marchand and Pasta for at least like a month or so.
I can understand that then. Yeah.
I go Philly, then Boston, then I have your Islanders at 3, and then I actually go.
You have more faith than I do.
No, or this is, and the biggest difference is I actually have Pittsburgh at 4. I just don't doubt Crosby. I have Washington at 5. Sorry, I have Jordan. I have your Rangers at 6.
All right,
and then I have Buffalo at 7 and New Jersey at 8. So our tops are the same, just switched.
Yeah.
Our bottoms are exactly the same, and then it's in the middle 4, and that just speaks to how competitive this division is going to be.
That's what I love about hockey, though. It's not predictable. It's not predictable. It's not super teams. It's not. It's going to be the same like for like 4 or 5 years until something may switch. It's like hockey every single year. You never know what is going to happen. That's any team can win on any given day, and I say that every time if we're versing a team that's in the bottom of the league. I'm like, don't just call this a done deal, the easy 2 points. Any team can win on any given day.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about hockey. It's just who wants it more.
No, that's a wonderful way to conclude this. We're going to see who wants it more, and I've always wanted you on here. Thank you, Kim, for doing this. And
I always wanted to do something with you, so I'm so excited to do this.
This is great. And Jordan, thank you for lending your unexpected expertise. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad I had him, honestly, because honestly, with the Rangers, it's like one of the ones in the league. I'm like, I don't really know much.
I know you would shoot me a text quickly.
Yeah.
So Kim, remind everyone where they can find you on social.
So mostly you can find me at ISLesGirl3, ISLESGirl3. I do on YouTube. I mostly talk through Twitter about updates with anything and everything Islanders. I mean, they're my number 1 team. But if anything happens around the league, I like to try and talk about it and give my own opinions about those. But if you really want up-to-date Islanders news, I'm your girl. Awesome. And you've been great with the whole division actually today. So Kim, once again, thank you. And I can't wait to see what people are going to have been saying in the chat as we've talked through all 8 of these teams and shared some good experiences from the arenas. But both to you and to Jordan, thanks for joining me, and good luck this season. Good luck to your Canucks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you guys.
Same.
Dark Horse, number 1. Let's go, baby.
There we go. Thanks again, guys.